You ever wake up and just know something's off even before your feet hit the floor? That was me the morning the HOA showed up to tear down my fence. I mean, picture it. I'm barely conscious. Hair doing that gravity quit thing, mesh shorts, old college t-shirt, first coffee, not even half gone, and there's this roaring orange excavator parked in my backyard like I accidentally scheduled a demolition party. 3 guys in vests, one of them already sweating through his shirt, and all of them standing right next to the fence I'd sunk months of paychecks and 8 weeks of waiting into. You can imagine my vibe. Groggy, confused, a little worried I was still dreaming. So I'm staring cup in hand thinking, they've got to have the wrong house. The folks behind me were always getting work done. Maybe it's some weird drainage thing. You know, the lots in our subdivision are about as logical as a jigsaw puzzle done blindfolded. But I head out barefoot on the deck, do this half-hearted wave, because what else do you do at 7 a.m. when your fence is about to be turned into kindling? Hey, can I help you guys? I call out, trying to sound like I know what I'm doing. The oldest guy flips his clipboard, squints at the page. This parcel number, he says, and rattles off my property tax number like it's just another Monday. Back fence removal. Association work order. I actually laughed right out loud. Nobody, I say. That's not right. The association didn't pay for this fence, I did. And that's when she shows up. Mara, president of the HOA. She's got that perfect golf visor, the clipboard glued to her arm, the bob haircut. Honestly, if rules could wear perfume, she'd smell like it. No mistake, she says, already marching into my yard like she owns Zillow. We've been over this, Mason. Your fence violates the new visual openness guidelines. I try to reason. Mara, the pool's on this side. My side. You don't get to decide who sees into my backyard. And just as I'm arguing, I see Trent, my neighbor across the street, always lurking, arms folded, eating popcorn with his eyes. You know the type. He's not involved, but man, he's loving the drama. Mara gives me her practiced, let's not get emotional smile. She's quoting bylaws talking about community aesthetics and how the board voted for open fencing near the walking path. Thing is, my pool permit required a privacy fence. Her signature is on my approval letter. But she just waves that off. Code enforcement updated their interpretation, she says. It's still a compliant barrier. I'm losing it now. No one told me. There was no letter, no vote. You can't just roll in with an excavator. We notified everyone. It was on the portal. The portal. Nobody even uses that thing. I work nights. I'm not scanning HOA PDFs at midnight, you know? She turns to the workers. Gentlemen, go ahead. The machine fires up. I literally jump between the bucket and my fence, waving my mug like a lunatic. You touch this fence without my written consent. That's destruction of property. I'll call the cops. She gives me this look like I'm a kid throwing a tantrum at Target. You're welcome to call, she says, cool as ice. But the association's within its rights. You sign the covenants. Sometimes you don't get your way. I'm just about to reply probably something about not signing up for the local Peeping Tom committee when neighbors start appearing on the path. Strollers, dogs, kids with scooters, all pretending not to watch while absolutely watching. The privacy I'd paid for just evaporating by the second. Mara steps closer, voice all sweet poison. This hostility is why the board wants openness, Mason. It's about shared amenities encouraging neighborly interaction. I nearly choke on my coffee. You think my pool is a community amenity, I say, pointing at the water I pay to heat to fill to ensure. Mara just blinks, slow and smug. It's part of the lifestyle the neighborhood offers, she says like she's reading off a brochure. Trent is smirking. The workers look away. And suddenly it all clicks. She wants people to be able to cut through and use my pool. Mara's voice sharpens. You can cooperate or we'll pursue compliance penalties. Either way, this fence is coming down. Something in me goes cold. Fine, I say. But if I see anyone on my land or in my pool without permission, I will call 911 every time you're on notice. She doesn't even blink, just pulls out her phone, dials the non-emergency line and puts it on speaker. Hi. Yes, I'd like to report a neighbor making threats about calling 911 to harass residents enjoying the community space. The excavator's bucket snaps the first panel with a crack that sounds like a bone breaking. That's how it started. 20 minutes later, half my fence is a pile of splinters and the cops are rolling up Mara leading the way, all polite concern. The officer asks, "Who owns this property?" I pull up the county app, my name right there. Permits, receipts, approval letters, all with Mara's signature. The officer asks Mara, "Do you have written consent to remove his fence?" She's flustered for the first time, starts citing covenants. Legalese, nothing solid. The officer shrugs. Covenants are civil, not criminal. I'm not here to referee your politics. If you're removing something he owns without his say-so, that's a problem. Mara sputters about compliance. I just say, "You don't get to hire a crew to touch a thing on my land without a judge." He writes up an incident report for property damage, tells me I should talk to a lawyer. Mara gripes about property values. The workers pack up, leaving my backyard looking like a tornado audition there. And the wave. Oh man. By lunch, I've got emails from the HOA violations for non-compliance, warnings for harassment, threats of fines. At this point, I feel like I'm on a beach watching a tsunami come in, can't stop it, just waiting for the splash. See, the pool wasn't just a thing for me. I worked nights, respiratory therapist, hospital grind, cafeteria food, running on fumes for months to afford that patch of blue sanity. My pool was where I remembered what it felt like to breathe floating in the dark at 3 a.m. Mara and her little club turning it into a neighborhood water park. Not happening. That night, Rhea, my girlfriend, sits at the kitchen table, scrolling her phone. "You know they're already painting you as the villain in the group chat," she says. "Skipped right over the part where they tried to bulldoze your property." Of course, I mutter. The narrative writes itself. We hatch a plan, lawyer up, document everything, install cameras, maybe even motion-activated sprinklers. Rhea's idea, but I didn't hate it. She points out rightly that if the association removes a safety fence, they might be breaking the law, not me. So I email the board, demand explanations, attach every permit copy, every neighbor ask for records. Then I call a real estate attorney guy named Caleb. Looks like he's halfway between fixing your Wi-Fi and running for Congress. He listens to everything, whistles low. "You're not crazy," he says. "They can't just take down your fence. You've got a case." Next morning after a night shift, I find footprints, wet-sized teenage, across my patio from the pool. Check the camera, 3 kids in June, my friendly neighbor making themselves at home. Not a text, not a call, just cannonballs in my pool. A few minutes later, another family toddler with floaties strolls in like it's community swim hour. And there's Trent phone out documenting it all. I pull on jeans, march out there, adrenaline doing cartwheels. Everyone out of the pool now. June tries to smooth it over, says Mara explained. It's all a shared space. I shut her down. My property. My insurance. You're trespassing. Leave politely, but leave. June, undeterred, hits me with, "You know, people talk. You're not making a good impression." I say, "If you want a community pool, join a gym. This isn't one." By that afternoon, the HOA emails me about shared spaces and warns of additional assessments for uncooperative residents. The legal gloves are off. Caleb drafts a cease and desist letter, pure polite venom. I mail it certified and slide a copy under the HOA office door for effect. I also call the city about the pool barrier. Turns out Mara's openness could mean fines for them, not me. So I slap up some bright orange temporary fencing laminate, no trespassing signs big enough to see from orbit, and wait. The city inspector shows up, looks at the hole in my fence, the sea of orange plastic, shakes his head. "They did this without your permission." Nope, not a word. He jots notes, takes pictures, tells me the code violation will technically be on me because it's my property, but his report will state loud and clear that the association caused it. And those fines, they add up fast. At the next HOA meeting, I walk in, hand the violation notice to the treasurer, and spell it all out. Demolished, permitted fence, trespassing, city citation. The room flips. Suddenly the board's on the ropes, promise in the minutes, "No more touching private fences without written consent. They'll restore my fence," and oh yeah, Mara's facing recall. Within a month, my fence is rebuilt. Costs reimbursed. Mara's gone. New board rewrites the rules and June apologizes. Now she texts before her kids swim. Rhea and I get our peace back. The cameras stay up, the signs don't come down, and I sleep like a dragon on gold. So you tell me, where's the line between community and just plain crossing the line? Ever dealt with HOA nonsense? Or am I the only one with a pool that nearly became a public park? Drop your story, your take on what's fair down below. Let's hear it, because sometimes standing your ground is the only way anyone remembers where the line is supposed to be.